I've made financial decisions that made me thousands of dollars in a single week, and I've made others that cost me just as much, leaving me staring at a bank balance and wondering where it all went wrong. The weird part? I don't use traditional advice or my gut feeling anymore. I stopped listening to the talking heads on the news and stopped relying on that feeling in my chest when I'm about to swipe my card. There's a simple framework I use for every single financial decision now: spending, investing, even buying small things that most people don't think twice about. By the end of this video, you'll be able to make any financial decision without second guessing yourself or feeling that familiar sting of buyer's remorse. You're going to learn how to filter the noise and focus on what actually moves the needle for your bank account. Most people don't realize that the real struggle with money isn't about being smart enough or having more information. We live in an era where you can find 1,000 articles on how to save $5 on your grocery bill, yet most people are still stressed. We think that if we just read one more book or watch one more market analysis, we'll finally make the right choice. But the reality is far more frustrating. Most bad financial decisions come from emotional timing, not a lack of knowledge. You know you should save, but that limited time offer on a new gadget hits your inbox and your logic disappears. This is why smart money management is so difficult to master. It's a fight against your own biology. We fall into the trap of impulse spending because of a dopamine hit, or we practice fear-based investing because we see a red line on a chart and panic. We suffer from lifestyle inflation, where every raise we get is immediately swallowed by a bigger car payment or a nicer apartment. The issue isn't your intelligence, it's the total lack of a repeatable system to catch you when your emotions take over. This is exactly why traditional advice fails so many people. Budgeting alone doesn't solve decision fatigue. You can have the most beautiful spreadsheet in the world, but when you're tired after a long day of work, that spreadsheet isn't the thing making the choice for you. Telling someone to just think long-term is too vague to be useful in real life. What does long-term even mean when you're looking at a pair of shoes you want right now? Even the experts disagree on almost everything. One person tells you to pay off your mortgage early, while another tells you to invest that money in the stock market. You don't need better advice. You need a repeatable filter that works regardless of what the experts are saying this week. I call this system the 3-layer decision filter. I developed it because I needed a way to strip away the emotion and look at the math and the meaning behind every dollar that leaves my hand. The beauty of this framework is its simplicity. It works for any financial decision, whether you're looking at a $5 coffee or a $50,000 investment. It's a wealth building framework that scales with you as you grow. Here is exactly how it works. The first layer is the survival filter. This is the foundation of everything. Before you spend a single cent or move money into a speculative asset, you have to ask one question: will this choice harm my financial stability? This layer covers your bills, your high interest debt, and your emergency buffer. It sounds basic, but you would be shocked at how many people try to invest in crypto or buy luxury items while they are still carrying credit card debt at 24% interest. If this layer fails, nothing else matters. You cannot build a skyscraper on a swamp. Rule number 1 of the survival filter is that if the purchase or investment compromises your ability to cover your core needs for the next 6 months, the answer is an immediate no. Most people skip this step because it's not exciting. It's not flashy to talk about emergency funds. But this is where people break. They reach for the stars before they've even secured the ground they're standing on. Once you pass the survival test, you move to layer 2, the opportunity cost filter. This is where we start to deepen our thinking. The question here is, what am I giving up by doing this? Every time you choose to do one thing with your money, you're simultaneously choosing not to do 1,000 other things. Most people only see the price tag, but the real cost is the invisible trade-off. We're talking about time, investment growth, and even skill development. For example, if you spend $1,000 on a new phone, you aren't just out $1,000. You're out the $7,000 that money could have become if it were invested for 20 years. You're also giving up the potential to use that money to buy a course that could increase your earning power. People naturally overvalue short-term comfort because our brains are wired for immediate gratification. The real cost of a purchase is usually not the price tag, it's the future version of that money that you've effectively killed off. The third and final layer is the future identity filter. This is where we shift from math to psychology. The question is, does this decision align with the person I want to become? This is the ultimate tool for achieving true financial freedom. We often make choices based on who we are right now, tired, hungry, or wanting to impress someone, but your current self is often the enemy of your future self. I want you to contrast your short-term desire with your long-term identity. If you want to be a person who is fit and healthy, does buying that expensive processed meal align with that? If you want to be a person who is financially independent, would a financially free version of you make this choice? Identity drives consistency more than logic ever will. When a decision feels like a betrayal of the person you're trying to become, it becomes much easier to walk away from it. Let's look at this framework in action with some real-life breakdowns. Imagine you want to buy a phone upgrade. It's $1,000. Layer 1. Do you have the cash and is your debt paid off? If yes, move to Layer 2. Layer 2. What is the opportunity cost? That $1,000 could be a significant portion of your retirement contributions for the year. Is the slightly better camera worth that future loss? Layer 3. Does this phone help you become the person you want to be? If you're a content creator, maybe yes. If you're just trying to keep up with friends, probably not. This removes 90% of the hesitation instantly. Getting a new car loan. Layer 1. Can you pay monthly without depleting your emergency fund? Layer 2. Interest costs make this opportunity cost huge. The bank charges you for owning a depreciating asset. Layer 3. Does buying a new car help you generate wealth, or is it just a status symbol? An automobile loan across these three tiers usually eliminates the need for a new car. Finally, handle work bonuses, $2,000. First layer, add to emergency savings or pay off high interest debt. Layer 2, investing today could shorten your career by months or years. Layer 3, does vacationing fit your existing identity, or is being an investor more important? This clarity is superpower-like. People still make mistakes with this strategy. Overcomplicate first. For little transactions, use the mental filter instead of a calculator. Totally ignoring a layer is another error. Good in layer 2 math, but ignore layer 3 makes some people miserly and dissatisfied. Others neglect survival and get into debt because they identify as high rollers. Emotionally justifying bad judgments is a big error. Being honest with yourself. Avoid twisting layer 3 to fit unnecessary purchases. As a mirror, this structure is not magical. It simplifies discipline, not replaces it. Combine the 24-hour rule with this method for an advanced upgrade. Wait 24 hours before making any non-essential purchase over a particular amount. Since the emotional heat of the event has cooled, the 3-layer filter can act correctly. Combine this with automation. To only make decisions with money that has passed the first filter, automate your survival layer, auto savings, auto debt payments. I also recommend briefly journaling key financial decisions. Write down why a choice passes all 3 layers. This improves your judgment and makes it automatic. All financial decisions go under this filter. Start with survival filter to protect your base. Use the opportunity cost filter to see what you're losing long term. Finally, use the future identity filter to make sure your money is helping you become who you want to be. Money ceases being a stressor and becomes a tool for your design when you align survival, growth, and identity. Please contact me now. Your worst failure is which of these 3 layers: survival layer, opportunity cost, or identity alignment? Share in the comments. Try this paradigm on your next financial decision, no matter how minor, and see how it alters your viewpoint. Stop guessing, start building.